For 3 billion years, every living thing on this planet just sat there. Bacteria, algae, soft blobs anchored to the ocean floor, absorbing nutrients from the water drifting past them. No legs, no fins, no muscles, no reason to move because nothing was chasing anything. Then something changed, and within a geological instant, animals went from 0 to 390 kilometers per hour. That number belongs to the peregrine falcon, the fastest creature that has ever existed. But here's what makes this story strange. The slowest mammal on Earth has been around for 64 million years. Longer than most fast species. Longer than the cheetah's entire lineage. So if speed wins, why is the slowest animal still here? To answer that, we need to go back to the moment speed was invented. And it starts with the first murder, 541 million years ago, the Cambrian explosion. In roughly 20 million years, a blink in geological time, animal body plans diversified faster than at any point in Earth's history. Eyes appeared, jaws developed, hard shells showed up for the first time. But the real trigger wasn't any of those things. The real trigger was that one animal ate another. Before predation, there was no reason to be fast. After predation, there was no choice. Prey that couldn't escape got eaten. Prey that could move survived. And the predators that caught them? They survived too. A feedback loop locked into place, one that has been accelerating for 500 million years and has never stopped. The first apex predator we know of was called Anomalocaris, a meter-long arthropod with grasping claws and compound eyes containing 16,000 individual lenses. Nothing else alive came close. By modern standards it was slow, but compared to a world where nothing moved at all, it was a nightmare. And that nightmare created an arms race, one that would eventually produce something almost incomprehensibly fast. But first, it had to go through the dinosaurs. For hundreds of millions of years, speed kept scaling up. Fish evolved sustained swimming. Amphibians colonized land. Reptiles followed. And then came the dinosaurs. And they weren't what you think. The old image of sluggish, cold-blooded dinosaurs dragging their tails through swamps? Gone. Modern evidence points to warm-blooded metabolisms, upright postures, and in some lineages, genuine athleticism. The ornithomimids, nicknamed ostrich dinosaurs, had lightweight builds, powerful hind legs, and could reach an estimated 60 kilometers per hour. That's faster than a racehorse, 70 million years ago. But the speed revolution wasn't happening on the ground, it was happening above it. Flight evolved independently at least 4 times in vertebrates, pterosaurs, birds, bats, and arguably certain gliding dinosaurs. Each time it cracked open a dimension of movement that legs couldn't access. Air has less resistance than ground. Wings convert muscle power into velocity more efficiently. And gravity, when you're diving from height, is free acceleration, which is exactly how one bird became the fastest animal in the history of life. The peregrine falcon weighs about 1 kilogram, wingspan of roughly 1 meter. In level flight, it cruises at 65 kilometers per hour. Unremarkable. Plenty of birds are faster in a straight line, but the peregrine doesn't hunt in a straight line. It climbs to extreme altitude, sometimes over 1 kilometer high, spots prey below, folds its wings into a tight teardrop shape, and dives. This maneuver is called a stoop, and during it, the peregrine exceeds 390 kilometers per hour, faster than a Formula One car at full throttle, faster than a bullet train. The fastest any animal has ever moved, anywhere on Earth, ever. And every part of its body is built for this one act. A bony tubercle inside each nostril disrupts airflow at high speed, so its lungs don't rupture from air pressure. The feathers are stiff and narrow to cut drag. A translucent third eyelid sweeps across the eye mid-dive to keep vision clear. Even the dark facial markings below its eyes serve a purpose. They absorb sunlight and reduce glare, functioning exactly like the eye black that athletes wear. 500 million years of evolutionary arms racing produced this. A predator refined to the absolute physical limit of speed. End of story, right? Speed wins. Fastest animal takes the crown. Except that's not how evolution works. And the proof is hanging upside down in a tree in Costa Rica, covered in algae, barely awake. The three-toed sloth moves at 0.27 kilometers per hour, 1 meter every 1.5 seconds at top speed. Its metabolic rate is the lowest ever recorded for any non-hibernating mammal, 40 to 50% below what scientists would predict for its size. Its body temperature drifts up and down throughout the day in a way that would indicate serious illness in any other mammal. It eats leaves, one of the least calorie-dense foods available, and digests a single meal so slowly it can take a month to pass through its system. By every conventional measure, this animal should be extinct. It can barely regulate its own temperature. On the ground, it's essentially defenseless. It moves so slowly that algae literally grows on its body. And yet, sloths have been around for 64 million years. Here's why. Speed solves the predation problem one way, by outrunning the threat. But invisibility solves it another way, by never being detected in the first place. Those grooves in the sloth's fur? They're not a defect. They're specifically adapted to cultivate green algae, giving the sloth a mossy, greenish camouflage that blends into the canopy. The harpy eagle, one of the most powerful aerial predators in the Americas, hunts by scanning the treetops for movement. A sloth that doesn't move doesn't get seen. The sloth didn't fail at being fast. It opted out of the speed race entirely and found a completely different way to survive. And it's been working for 64 million years, longer than the cheetah family has even existed. But the speed spectrum gets stranger than that. The cheetah. 120 kilometers per hour in short bursts, 0 to 100 in 3 seconds, quicker than most production sports cars. It's the animal everyone thinks of when they hear fastest, but the cheetah paid an enormous evolutionary price for that speed. Its frame is so lightweight it loses nearly every physical confrontation with other predators. Lions steal its kills. Hyenas bully it off carcasses. Its claws are semi-retractable, more like a dog's than a cat's, sacrificing grip for sprint traction. The cheetah is a one-trick specialist. That trick is extraordinary, but it costs everything else. Now, the pronghorn antelope. This is where the story turns eerie. The pronghorn can sustain 90 kilometers per hour over long distances, the fastest endurance runner of any land animal alive. But nothing in modern North America can come anywhere close to catching it. No living predator on the continent requires the pronghorn to be this fast. So why is it? Because it evolved alongside the American cheetah, a now extinct predator that vanished roughly 12,000 years ago. The pronghorn is still running from an animal that no longer exists. Its speed is a fossil, preserved in muscle and bone, an echo of an arms race that ended when the predator went extinct, but the prey kept sprinting. In the ocean, speed gets harder to measure. The sailfish, the black marlin, and the shortfin mako shark are all contenders for fastest marine animal, with claimed speeds between 100 and 130 kilometers per hour. But many of those figures come from fishing line drag. How fast a hooked fish pulls line from a reel. Questionable data from a panicking animal on a hook. What we do know is that some tuna species evolved a heat exchange system that keeps their swimming muscles warmer than the surrounding water, giving them a metabolic edge that cold-blooded fish can't match. They essentially run a fever on purpose, to swim faster. And then, there's the one creature that demolishes the entire ranking, the Southern Californian mite, Paratarsotomus macropalpis, barely visible to the naked eye. It runs 322 body lengths per second. If a human could match that ratio, we'd be moving at roughly 2,000 kilometers per hour. In proportional terms, this microscopic arachnid is the fastest animal on the planet. And it's not even close. Nobody puts a mite on a thumbnail. Nobody makes a documentary about it. But by the most honest measurement of speed relative to body size, every cheetah, every falcon, every marlin is standing still compared to a creature you'd need a magnifying glass to find. 500 million years ago, nothing on this planet could move. Life was still, silent, anchored. Then one organism ate another, and everything changed. The prey that survived were the ones that could flee. The predators that thrived were the ones that could chase. And that loop, run or be eaten, catch or starve, compressed and accelerated and branched into a spectrum of solutions so vast it includes a falcon breaking the sound barrier of biology and a sloth winning by doing absolutely nothing. Speed isn't a hierarchy, it's a toolkit, and evolution doesn't care which tool you pick, only whether it keeps you alive long enough to pass it on. The pronghorn runs from a ghost. The sloth hides in plain sight. The mite sprints faster than physics seems to allow. And somewhere high above all of them, a peregrine falcon folds its wings, tips forward, and falls toward the earth at 390 kilometers an hour, carrying 500 million years of arms race in every feather. If this changed how you think about speed, subscribe. There are stranger stories hiding inside the natural world. Next one's right here.